Hi, I'm Kresse, the co-founder of Elvis and Kresse. I'm going to answer a series of questions for blank. Over the whole period of the pandemic, we have had actually quite an interesting routine. We wake up in the morning, we take our lovely dog for a walk outside, we come back to the workshop and have breakfast, we run through all of the orders. I do a lot of virtual meetings, a lot of Zooming, a lot of Microsoft Teams, interviews with journalists, and then more orders, and then another dog walk in the evening and home, which is also in the same building. The ritual is definitely walking Monty twice a day and probably lots of other exercise that we fit in. I think that's one of the things that keeps us the most sane, particularly in a time like this. The biggest impact is that we normally have 25 people that are doing all of the activities that we require because we manufacture all of our own products. And now we're running skeleton teams because of social distancing, and that means that there is essentially only about 6 of us that are trying to do the same amount of work that 25 people normally do, which is really, really tricky. I think also what's definitely impacted us is that we move around a lot. We communicate with lots of people. We work with retailers. All of our boutique partners and retailers have closed, and a lot of the events that we were going to attend have been cancelled. We had a lot of amazing things planned with the V&A right now in April and May, and all of those have been postponed. The reality of waste, the reality of all of the environmental work that has to be done in order to fend off catastrophic climate change means that we have to always be thinking about what's next and how can we do more and how can we be better and how can we have a greater impact. So even when we're extremely frustrated and you think, gosh, we could give up, that's never, ever, ever a serious thought because there's just too much work to do. What inspires us is the same thing that keeps us going, really. Nature, the environment. Every wonderful thing that we see, that we want other people's grandchildren to be able to see for generations to come. And Elvis, always Elvis, massive inspiration for me. My grandmother, amazing environmentalists like Wangari Maathai and Jane Goodall and Greta. I mean, come on, there's amazing people out there. Catherine Hayhoe, an amazing climate scientist and communicator. Fashion right now is deeply irresponsible, and maybe the idea of fashion itself has to go, because fashion really is associated with trend, and what we have to focus on are things that we can wear year in and year out until they wear out, and then they can be reinvented and remade into new things. We have to let go of this idea of constantly changing and trying to chase a new shape. You know, you will eventually find the shape of clothes that suits you, and that's the kind of clothes that you should wear, and there should be no pressure to constantly reinvent things, especially when that reinvention doesn't really involve innovation. It involves yet more destruction of the environment and exploitation of its people. So my thoughts is that responsible fashion has to be the only fashion really in the future that's allowed.